What's going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and we got some great and bad news to discuss today. First off, the great news. Jalen Redmond, interior defensive lineman for your Minnesota Vikings, has been playing great football to start the season, and there's some great stats around his name. But bad news, the Detroit Lions. They absolutely smoked the Ravens last night on Monday Night Football, and it just makes this division even more challenging than we thought it was. And also the run game. We got some great stats around the Vikings, improving that from last season to this season. But before we dive into it, if you guys could hit that subscribe button today. We're closing in here on 61,500 subscribers. We just need 278 more of you guys to hit that subscribe button today. So if you guys are new here or haven't subscribed just yet, change that. Hit the subscribe button on today's show. You guys will get daily videos around your Minnesota Vikings. All right, let's talk about the big fella, number 61, Jalen Redmond. This guy has been absolutely unbelievable this season. Now, we obviously know the Vikings had a need for somebody to step up at the interior defensive line spot after Harrison Phillips was traded, and Jalen Redmond has done just that. Check out this graphic where it's pass rush win percentage plus pressure percentage. Pressure going up the left, pass rush win percentage down at the bottom. And at the top right of your screen, you see that little Vikings logo? That's Jalen Redmond up there, right next to Jeffrey Simmons, some of the other best defensive linemen in the National Football League. And I think, the biggest reason why the Vikings traded Harrison Phillips was because of Jalen Redmond. Now, obviously, you're getting 2 6-round picks, which, the Vikings are going to need over the next couple of seasons since they won't be big spenders in free agency, so they're going to need to hit on a lot of these draft picks. But also, I'm sure they're looking at a guy like Redmond and saying, hey, we need to get him out there on the football field more. How do we do that? All right, let's trade one of our veterans, Harrison Phillips, to a team like the Jets who needed a defensive tackle, and they put a lot of faith in Jalen Redmond, and he has proved this coaching staff right. He has looked amazing. He has been dominant in the run game and the pass game, but it's not just Jalen Redmond is why they traded Harrison Phillips. It's also LDR. Levi Drake Rodriguez has had an unbelievable season. Now, between the two of these guys, you're combining for 10 pressures. You got 5 tackles for loss in 3 games, and PFF has graded both these guys out very well. Levi Drake Rodriguez actually has a better PFF grade than Jalen Redmond, but they do give the pass rush grade in favor of Redmond. But both these guys have been fantastic, and I will tip my cap to GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. What great value with these two guys. Levi Drake Rodriguez was a 7th-round pick, and Jalen Redmond was available for everybody. Anybody who needed a defensive tackle could have picked him up from the UFL. The Vikings took a chance, and it turned out to be a big-time move. And just think about that value. Like, you're not really given a ton of assets. You just signed Jalen Redmond for nothing. You spent a 7th-round pick on Levi Drake Rodriguez, and those are your 2 starting nose tackles. It's just fantastic stuff. And then you start looking at this defensive line differently. Because obviously you know what Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave are all about. Some of the best in the league, great at getting home to the quarterback, but we obviously know they had a need for that true nose tackle. And that's where Jalen Redmond stepped up. Levi Drake Rodriguez has stepped up. And now you're looking just at the Vikings front 7 as a whole. You got no need for any defensive linemen. You love the edge department. You love your linebackers. So these guys stepping up was massive for this team. And, what's kind of scary for other teams in the NFL is the young defensive tackles are only going to get better throughout the year. Like, Jalen Redmond only played in 4 games this past season. Levi Drake Rodriguez played 9 snaps for this team this past year. Now, what are they doing this year? They're getting more snaps. They're getting more reps. And also what I've loved, we have seen growth, not only from game to game, but from drive to drive. Like, we have seen Jalen Redmond and LDR play their best football the most recent time we saw them. So I can't wait to watch them continuously, develop throughout the season. And if you guys want to show Jalen Redmond some love, type his jersey number, type those 61s down below. The future's looking bright at the defensive tackle spot. So, hey, shout out to him, working his tail off, playing some great football for this defense. So type those 61s down below. All right, now I hate to damper the mood here, but I do got to talk about the Detroit Lions. And the Lions put on an absolute show yesterday. I think the whole conversation, can this offense still be elite without Ben Johnson? How are they going to look with losing both their defensive and offensive coordinators? They look just fine. And this guy, Jared Goff, the stat sheet, not going to blow you away. 20 of 28, 202 yards and a touchdown. This dude was a stone cold killer last night. Picking up key 4th downs, having huge touchdown passes on 2 3rd-and-long or 1 touchdown pass on a 3rd-and-long situation. This guy was just fantastic. But even just a run game, going for over 200 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, didn't really even have that good of a game on the ground, but he still ran for 67 yards, getting a big workload, 22 carries, found the end zone 2 times, and then also David Montgomery. Like, he is the best second running back in the league. Those two have the best, or they're the best combination of running backs in the entire NFL. David Montgomery ran wild yesterday, averaging 12.6 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, over 150 yards. And then you also got weapons on the perimeter like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, and that's where I think we almost undervalued the Lions this year in terms of just how good the roster is and how many blue chippers they have. Like Aiden Hutchinson had that huge forced fumble on Derrick Henry. You know, you got Brian Branch in the secondary, Kirby Joseph, they're studs. They love their defensive line as a whole. They love their linebackers, and offensively, it's just blue chippers at every spot. Penei Sewell on the offensive line, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra, Jared Goff is a blue chipper. Then you got 2 running backs creating the best combo in the league. I think the Lions not only are the best team in the division, I think right now they should get the top nod as the best team in the NFC. They are a powerhouse. They are a wagon. And, you know, the Vikings haven't beaten this team in 2 years, and it's going to be tough this season. But I'll ask you guys this. Bigger threat for the Vikings in the NFC North? For me personally, it is 100% the Lions. We swept the Packers last year. Still think the Packers are a little bit, overrated at this point, but I think the Lions are underrated. Like, they're a hell of a football team. Dan Campbell, one of the most underrated coaches in the league. So you guys let me know, who is a bigger threat? Give me an L for the Lions or give me a P for the Packers. Now some more bad news that broke yesterday, but just in case you guys missed it, want to get you guys an info here. Kevin Seifert tweeting this out. Vikings rookie left guard Donovan Jackson had surgery on his wrist yesterday being Monday. He suffered this injury in week 2, but played with it during week 3. And he'll most likely be back on the field week 7 after the bye. So it's going to be Blake Brandel filling in at left guard. Brandel played pretty good with Christian Darrisaw in the lineup last season, but still, we won't be able to see that full 5-man front until week 7, hopefully week 7, barring any more injuries at that offensive line. But Darrisaw, Donovan Jackson, Kelly, Fries, Brian O'Neill, got to get those 5 out there and get them out there healthy because they got to build chemistry. They got to build continuity. So hopefully it starts week 7 against the Eagles. Now, we'll dive into more on today's show here in a second. But quickly, I got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Now, you and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. And if you guys download the Prize Picks app today, plug in promo code CLNS. We'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. On Prize Picks, super simple to play. All you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. And if you guys get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40-plus states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. It's also super user-friendly, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. They offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Now, if you guys could, download the Prize Picks app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. A massive shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, let's close today's show out talking about the run game and specifically that bad man right there, Jordan Mason. Now, as we know, under Kevin O'Connell, this has been the weakest part of his game in terms of being an offensive play caller, an offensive coordinator. Couldn't run the ball over the last couple of seasons. But this year, it has flipped on its head. Check out these numbers comparing the 2025 season compared to the 2024 season. This year, second in EPA per rush, .10. Fantastic. Third in success rate at 49.3. Yards per carry, 4.8. Now, I will say Jordan Mason is top 5 in yards per carry, so hopefully that continues to improve with him getting more touches. But just compare it to the 2024 season, where you were about slightly below average, but you had massive jumps, like EPA per rush going from 18th to 2nd, success rate 17th to 3rd, and then even yards per carry going 16th to 10th. And a big reason for that is because of this guy, Jordan Mason. Number 27 has been absolutely fantastic. EPA per rush, first in the league. Success rate, first in the league. Yards per carry, top 5. Yards after contact, 7th in the league. And then my favorite stat, rushing yards over expected. He is plus 61, only behind Jonathan Taylor this year, who's plus 82. Taylor's leading the league in rushing, but Jordan Mason, I think he's the top 10 running back in the league, and he's completely changing life for this offense. Like, now Kevin O'Connell is hopefully going to lean more into it. That should open up other stuff for Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison now back this week. Like, even though this Vikings team fought some adversity, losing that big-time spot game to the Atlanta Falcons, but they're starting to get going, and it's because of the run game. Look at the improvement. From 2023 to 2024, big jump right there, almost averaging 20 more yards per game. And now this year, you're taking another leap. I would not be shocked when it's all said and done. We're talking about this team being a top 10 rushing offense. And the beautiful part of all this is the Vikings' offensive line and run game, they aren't close to being a final product. Like, it's only going to get better because you're going to get healthier on the offensive line. Jordan Mason is going to be more accustomed to the system, especially that offensive line part. Once we get those 5 guys really humming all on the same level, where Darisaw, he only played his first game last week, get him more reps under his belt. Then he got Donovan Jackson once he gets healthy, him still developing during his rookie year. Ryan Kelly, I got full faith in him, being that veteran center and holding it down. Then Will Fries, we've seen leaps from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. And then Brian O'Neill, just a definition of consistency at that right tackle spot. So this run game, it's kind of, I feel like we just saw just the first page of the book this past week against the Bengals, but I think they're going to build on it, and it starts this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I'll ask you guys this. What say you on this one? Is the Vikings run game fixed? Do you think this trend will continue throughout the rest of the season? You guys give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I think it will. Very, very pleased with how this team has been operating offensively so far this season. Now, make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel. We'll keep you guys posted with everything you need to know around your Minnesota Vikings. So hit that subscribe button today. We'll see you guys next time. As always, SKOL Vikes.